Hi, everybody. It's Alisamurray here with another Martini Talks, and tonight I'm visiting with my priest, Father Andrew, at St. Catherine's of Sienna. You guys know that that's my church in in Sienna Plantation, which is right next door. And we hope you guys enjoy our conversation this evening. We'll see you soon. What do you think? What do you think about what's been going on with everything? It's just so.
It's I joked in my sermon this past Sunday about 2020 is a year that we all are going to remember forever, but it's also coincidentally the year we want to forget as
Yeah.
quickly as possible. And it's we're learning very quickly how to adapt. How that the things we knew and were comforting to us are no longer things we can do, or that no longer bring us comfort. And I think it's just we're learning on the fly.
I mean, like the very basic thing of hugging someone.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, it's hard. Literally, it hurts.
yeah,
It hurts for me to not hug and kiss everybody.
yeah.
I hug and kiss everybody.
Then, we when with this whole, I was still at Trinity in Marshall when this whole thing started, and I told my congregation the week before we had to shut down services, we cannot shake hands during the peace. In Marshall, Texas, shaking hands is
A big
that's
deal.
a big deal. That's deep south. You shake somebody's hand, and if somebody extends their hand and
You
doesn't
don't
shake it, that's a big slap in the face. And
Yeah.
I had to tell my congregation, if you try to shake my hand at the back of the church, which is what we did after every service, I stood in the back and shook hands. I'm not gonna extend it, and that I could see some.
They're mad.
Yeah, they're in the same. We're not shaking during the peace in the Episcopal Church, and a lot of churches that's a big part of the
It's a big
service.
deal.
So things we knew that were comforting, hugging somebody. We just could not do. I had to tell my kids, when you see so and so at the store, before we stop taking them to the store, you can't go hug them. And I have a hugger in my family, just like one of my
It's
daughters.
so hard because like the babies. I was talking
Yeah.
to somebody else about this in a different Martini talk. It's like this is just basic human behavior.
Yeah.
And these babies have been with me in my arms since they were 3 to 5 days
Yeah.
old, and they're toddlers and teenagers and young adults, and it's just commonplace. I mean, the very first thing they do when they're little is they barrel out of the car and they come running to my arms and get big hugs and kisses before we ever go to the studio, and trying to explain why we're not doing that behavior to a child who's had that as their relationship with me
Yeah.
is heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Because I don't want them to think that I don't want that, but I'm trying to protect them and they're trying to protect me,
Yeah.
and not even me being protected or them being protected. It's maybe because I'm not unsafe. I'm at home, right?
Yeah.
I'm at home, and because of our situation with the heart stuff and all that, I'm not out and about. So
Yeah,
I'm
right.
not the person who's gonna be spreading anything because I haven't been anywhere to go catch it, right?
Yeah.
I'm home. But if I let them do that to me, then they're going to think, well, it's okay to do that to everybody.
Yeah.
And then they're going to just walk up to other people. So I have to set the right example. But it hurts.
It does.
And it just doesn't feel right. It feels like
No.
we're just missing, like literally, they'll get out of the car, even the mommies and the daddies, and they're like, oh man, I want to hug you. And I'm like, I
No.
know, I want to hug you too, but we're not supposed to.
No, yeah. And,
It's like, when does that end? We want
Yeah.
that to end quick.
and so you mentioned missing things, and all this whole time just keep thinking and going back to all the things we're missing: hugging, shaking hands. The high schoolers who just graduated high school this past May, I mean, they all missed a year that they missed prom, they missed.
Well, we're
their
getting ready to
graduation.
get the same thing with
Yeah,
James
I mean,
Edward.
James, and praying that everything is back to normal, but his getting back to school, the back to school routine.
Yeah.
We're just missing all these things that were so a part of our lives. But again, it shows us that we can adapt. Figure out, wow, we can have a high school graduation over Skype, or we can do church at home online, and we can we can still see grandparents' faces, though it's on FaceTime. There's avenues that we can still link to one another. I've always Facebook and social media, I've always kind of
not liked
not liked. You know, it's you know it's not my cup of tea. But I saw there's blessing in that, and it allowed us to remain connected. And I go back to the 1918 flu pandemic. One of the last time we didn't have church services in churches across the country, in the world. They didn't have
any of that.
Facebook Live. They didn't have YouTube Live. They didn't have Zoom. So it was praying on your own. And, you know, though we're missing these things, we're also discovering we're not alone. We still can have contact, and we can adapt to use the technologies that are available. I never thought I was going to be.
It feels funny. It's like I remember on Easter, because Easter was a big deal to me.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you knew. I don't think I told you this. So Easter Sunday, when I was 13, I was at the First Baptist Church, and you know, at the end of every single service, obviously, guys, before I became Episcopalian, and the preacher would say, if anybody wants to join the church or feels called to become a Christian or whatever, I forgot the words he used, but anyway, you know, come forward.
Yeah.
And so I popped up on that 13th birthday Easter Sunday, and I joined the church and got baptized and did all the things that, you know, you do when you make that decision in the Baptist church. And I just, you know, I remember Easter being, and it always has been, a very big deal. And so Easter this year was just like, I was really distraught. So I like brought my big cross down and put all the photos around it of my mom and daddy and people who have passed, and lit candles the whole day. And I TiVo'd all of the services at St. Patrick's Cathedral, and I TiVo'd all the stuff that was going on. Yeah. You know, anything I could get my hands on. I can't ever remember his name. He's you know who he is because he's in your stuff. What's his name? He did the ceremony for Megan. He's the Episcopalian priest.
Bishop Curry.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I found him, and I'm just watching like nonstop church, and Brian was like, "What is going on here? Like, what is happening?" I said, "I don't know. I just feel like the whole day should just be all about God and church, and we should just light candles and have wine and talk about the dead people and just really like be closer to God than we normally are, because Jesus is resurrected today, and this is an important day, and nothing is as it's supposed to be. Like, that's the big thing. ... Nothing feels like it's supposed to feel. We're supposed to be at church. We're supposed to be having potato salad and fried chicken. Yeah. We're supposed to be seeing people that we know and we love, and we can't go near them. It's like somebody waved this horrible, evil magic spell, and I've maintained that. It's like we're in some weird Matrix, strange, like watch too many movies, right? You know, it's just weird.
I made a joke earlier on. It's like, did Marty McFly go back and mess something up in the future and try? You know, it's like that scene from Back to the Future where something got messed up on the timeline, and we just took a horrible turn.
Yeah, it's just like, let's get back in the machine and move it and fix it.
Yes.
Like, fix it quick. Yeah. You know, I don't know how long it'll take before it gets. I know it will be. I have faith that it will.
Yeah, I do too.
I don't know what it'll look like. I'm hoping that we're not going to be dealing in a society that has to wear masks forever, because I really feel like, even though, you know, I've opened up the door and said hey to somebody, and she didn't even recognize me, and I laughed, and I'm like, how could you not know who this is?
Yeah.
I've been wearing this wig since 1995. If for no other reason, eyes to wig, you should know this is me. No one else in Sugarland has this wig on every day, blonde. This is me. But she was like in her own mind, you know, like blinders on, trying to get in, get out, be safe. And she didn't really see me. But then when I said, hey, and she was like, well, hey, how did you know me with this mask? I said, well, how could you not know me with my mask? I mean, like, and I was like, well, yeah, you're right. So, I mean, you can still see people, and smile with your eyes, but there's a lot missing when you don't have the whole face.
There is. You know, most of our communication's from facial expressions. And when I was preaching, you know, at my former church, we were able to regather for a brief period of time. And it was, you know, a small amount of people, but everyone had to wear face masks. So one of my cues as a preacher is facial expressions.
Yeah.
You know, I need those to know, okay, this is hitting. This point I'm making is a good point. Maybe this wasn't. A joke I told, you know, okay, I'm not going to tell that joke again. Or, you know, I found when preaching in face masks, it's like, I mean, I was back to preaching to the camera. You're not
It's
able
just
to
hard.
see and pick up that. Now I get what we're wearing them. We're protecting we're doing what Christ told us to do, to care for one another.
Right.
But yeah, we're missing out on a lot, and I'm so ready to get to that point where we can, shed the mask.
It's funny too. They talk about school starting back and how children need to be in school and children need to be with the children and da 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 da.
Yeah.
Da. And I think to myself, you know what? Yeah, that's true, but I think that the children are getting traumatized as well.
Yeah.
I think that there needs to be a little bit of a weight there, because I feel like, yes, they do need to be in school, but here's the other thing: the memory of them being in school and having to wear face masks
and
all
not
day.
be able to hug their friends or hold hands with their friends and play on the playground.
It's easier to just do virtual school and see their full faces, and it looks a lot more normal.
Yeah, it does.
To me.
And like you said, I fully believe we will be back to normal. This, it may take a little bit. We may have to walk this road for a little bit, and church may look different, school may look different, relationships may look different. But I have faith that just like that 1918 flu pandemic, just like the plague, we will get, we'll find a way to live with this virus.
It's just so strange. I never in my wildest dreams thought that we would be living like this.
I know. In the 21st century.
I mean, I could, and I've been out in that garden. Y'all know I've been out in that garden. I've been talking about that garden for a long time. And a lot of things happen in that garden. There's a lot of talking to God that goes on in that garden, and pushing seeds in the dirt and watching things grow and watching them and take care of them and all that. And it's like, why this and why that? And you ask yourself, why this and why that? And you're like, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Yeah. But there's certain points in my life where I want to summons the dead, right? Like when I gave birth to the children, I was like, where's my mother?
Yeah.
Where is my mother?
Yeah.
Like, I need my mother. I need my mother to come down here and show me how to do breastfeeding and what she should have told me. Daddy didn't tell me, and Daddy delivered babies for 30 years.
Yeah.
Was so mad. He comes to Sugarland, and I delivered Victoria Ann, and he knew perfectly damn well what was going to happen to my bottom, and he didn't tell me. And he's a doctor. And I came home, and I came in the house, and I put my shoes on, and I tried to pull my pants on that I was wearing before I'd given birth to Victoria Ann. And he started laughing. He goes, no. It took you 9 months to get her here. It will take you 9 months to get back in the clothes that you were wearing before you got pregnant with her. But that's something a mother would have said, and I would have already been prepared for. But I feel like, Nana, who lived to be 102, and she was around before anything. She was around before electricity, cars, airplanes, man on the moon, anything. Like, she was horse and buggy, farm, no phone. She was around for 1918.
Yeah.
In fact, she was 18.
Oh, wow. So
in 1918.
Very aware, but...
So, it would have been really groovy if she could have just been summoned down to the earth for just a temporary...
Yeah.
And I'll tell you a little story about that, because she actually did. But and it's funny that she did, but it's like you have to really believe or not believe in that, and I believe in that, and so it is what it is, and, you do or you don't. But I'll tell you the story in a second. But I feel like I needed to have, this special knowledge of how we were going to live and what to expect, and the peace behind knowing that it will be gone. It's just someone who's been through it could do a much better job of making you feel better about it while going through it than just by yourself going through it and going, oh my
keep telling yourself,
God,
it's going to end, it's going to end, it's going to end. Yeah.
So I was probably, let's see, when did this mess start? March, April, May. Might have been around April, May. Nana's birthday is April the 13th. And I remember, April the 12th rather. And I remember having a dream. And when you go to sleep and you wake up and you go back to sleep and you have that weird kind of in the middle, but you remember the stuff a little bit better than if you'd been dead asleep. Yeah. So I was dreaming, and Nana and Daddy came. And Nana said, darling, I don't know why they've sent me here, but something about, I don't know why they've sent us here, but there were, she was here, but she didn't understand why she was here. And Daddy was with her. Well, it scared the pudding out of me. I woke up crying. I thought, oh my God, I'm going to die of COVID. Nana and Daddy are coming for me. She's been sent down from heaven. They're coming down here to talk to me, to prepare me for the coming of the Lord. I was just in tears, literally sheets of tears, crying. I would really believe that, because it was Nana was right there. And then it was maybe a month later, we were hearing about wearing masks. Yeah. Right? That had not happened yet. And now we've got this conversation about masks and needing to wear masks. And I said, we're going to have to buy masks. Like, I never thought in my wildest dreams we were going to have to be
Yeah.
wearing or buying masks, but it was like the beginning conversation to that. And Mia goes, oh, well, we have some. And I was like, well, what do you mean we have some? She goes, no, we have some. We have one for every family member in the laundry room. They just appeared here. I thought you bought them. And I said, I did not buy them. Brian did not buy them. Do you want, I'm going to tell you something. Victoria, Justin, married children. James, Mia, me, Brian. 6 N95 masks showed up out of the blue.
Wow.
Into my laundry room, and everybody that I've talked to that's close to me that knew Nana too, they're like, oh yeah, Nana went and got that crap. She brought it to your house and dropped it off. She goes, you don't have to believe in ghosts if you don't want to, but I believe that that's exactly what happened, because Nana was like, she's not one of those to play around.
Yeah.
She went and got it, and she dropped it off for you to wear it. She's like, this is exactly what you guys need. And I was like, no, they weren't just masks. They were N95 masks. Yeah. They were like the Mercedes-Benz of masks.
Yeah.
And one for each person in the family. And wow. I was like, that's crazy. So I don't care until the day I die. You can tell me that didn't happen, that I dreamed that up. I've got the masks to prove it. And I have there's nobody that went and got any.
Yeah.
So I just believe in my heart that that's what happened. I have to.
Yeah.
You know, and I believe that sometimes those sorts of things happen. Yeah. You know what? I even checked with Father Mike about it. I said, call me crazy. He was like, Alisa, I love you, whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah.
You know, probably, I mean, we don't know.
Yeah.
You know?
There's some things that just aren't explainable that we're never
going
to
know.
Understand.
But I felt better. I felt better that if I got to go out and get groceries, or if I've got to go out and do life, at least I know I've got a mask. Yeah. And not just a mask, but an N95 mask. Yeah. But, you know, it's just kind of weird.
Yeah.
But I think that's the thing, too. I think all the people that I've talked to, people are either, like I was telling you earlier, they're either completely lost, worse than they ever were before.
Yeah.
Like almost scarily lost.
Yeah.
Drugs, drinking.
Yeah.
I've talked to people who never drank anything. Yeah. They're drinking all day. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, dudes, y'all know I drink vodka, and y'all know I drink vodka every day. And you do. Y'all know I drink vodka every day, which is why I'm never sick. But I don't drink all day.
Yeah.
Drinking all day scares me.
Yeah.
And these are people that don't drink at all.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is going on? Yeah. What is going on? Like, it's just, or they're really close to God.
Yeah.
They're like, they went from being, okay, I don't really know how I feel about the universe, to no. I know how I feel about the universe now. Yeah. I'm now locked and loaded.
Kind of a little wake up. Yeah. It's all a lie.
Yeah. And it's like, no, I mean, like, I'm not going to go to church every single Sunday at the end of the day after all this is over with. I'm talking about from their perspective. Mm-hmm. But I definitely believe my faith is stronger than it was. There's got to be a bigger thing going on. Yeah. And I know that, you know, I need to move into this direction, because I never would have done that for whatever that is. Yeah. Like,
well, I think we saw the reality of, you know, this life is finite. I mean, when you see, hundreds of thousands of people dying, you realize, we talked earlier, you never know when it's your time. And we're getting slapped right now with the reality that death is real. And, you know, I've heard that as well. People realize, we need to you know, finding faith or finding God in that. And
it's pretty scary when you look at the news and you see a bunch of bodies.
Yeah.
Like they're in bags.
Yeah.
And there's no funerals.
No.
And it's just a big, massive, huge, I guess, burial, or I don't even know what.
I don't know.
I mean, I just can't even. I mean, I told somebody, they were like, "You're not going to die." I said, "I'm not dying anytime soon." Hell, I almost should have died of a heart attack. Then I should have died of the stent surgery. Then I should have done. Now that here comes the COVID. I said, I'm not. It's not my time to go. I got plenty of stuff going on. Plus, my funeral is a huge funeral. I've already planned the whole thing. Yeah. We've got the church, St. Catherine's I've already got the music set for that. And then I have to get you the details since you're now my new priest. Yeah. We've got the other service that takes place that has, you know, like Van Halen and other music that, you know, is from our secular, non-secular and secular. We've got 2 different services, and I don't have time for 10 people at my funeral. I want hundreds of people at my funeral. I don't want it to be a small affair.
Celebration.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't know. I just feel bad for a lot of people, because it's really hard, and a lot of them are alone.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. I mean, like, people that don't have family that live with them, you know, you think about Normally, you would be making them food and you'd be taking them
Yep.
food. Well, are they thinking if you're taking them food that the food's contaminated?
Yeah. Or if they're in a nursing home and now you can't, you're not allowed to go in and see loved ones. I saw those videos and they're both heartwarming and heart-wrenching of grandkids standing outside the windows, and that's the contact with their grandparents or their parents. And yes, it's sweet that they're able to be there, but it's not. I can't imagine the pain that person is going through in the isolation. And it's I think you have to find God in that. When God's in this chaos. God is there. The light of Christ is in this chaos.
Yep.
And it's these times where it's hard to see, it feels like we're in darkness, is the most important time to try to look for that light in the small thing. The nurses who go out of their way to put themselves in harm's way to care for those loved ones. That's Christ in there caring for them. The people who are delivering groceries for someone because they're too scared to go out. That's the light of Christ being shown. So we got to find that light somewhere in this darkness and this chaos. And it's there. And if we open our eyes, we will see it.
It's there. It's there. Yeah. And it's also, and this is me flying high above and looking down. I don't remember the name of the painting in art school, but there's a painting, and it may have been from Paradise Lost or something along those lines, where you've got the depths of hell and you've got heaven. And you've got the fighting going on, and it feels like a movie. It feels like you've got hate, light.
Yeah.
In waves, you've got certain parts of the country that are being rioted in ways that you just can't even imagine happening in the United States of America. And it's like, it's almost unbelievable. I mean, it's like, and then I say to myself, praise Lord, I live in Texas, because that would not fly here. There's too many people here packing heat.
Yeah.
If you showed up at somebody's house at 3 o'clock in the morning and started shining lights in their windows and screaming and yelling at them that this used to be a black neighborhood, or this used to be, or whatever it would be that they're yelling and screaming about, there would be hell to pay here. But there's places in this country that there's so much unrest, and it's like hate. Yeah, and then you've got doctors every day that are putting their lives on the line, and nurses every day that are putting their lives on the line, and people going out and feeding people that are homeless. There's light, and dark. And, there's always been light, and dark, always.
Yeah.
Always. From the beginning, way even before Christ even came.
Yep.
There's always been light, dark. But this year, it's revealed.
Yeah, the contrast is definitely there. And
you can see it. Yeah. You can see it everywhere. You can see it in politics. You can see it in cities. You can see it in your neighborhood. You can see it everywhere.
Yeah.
And I just want the children to be, I don't want to use the word made aware. I just don't want them to feel like, I don't want them to be damaged.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to protect them from everything, but at the same time, I want them to not be different than who they would have been, because this is a very strange time.
It is. Yeah.
Like unusual.
Yeah.
It's not like, and again, if you look at the numbers, however many people have died versus how many people are going to die of the flu versus how many people are going to get killed in a car accident versus how many people are going to get cancer and die. I mean, like, the numbers are not crazy. It's not cool.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And seeing everybody die all at one time.
Yeah.
When bodies stacked up is scary.
Yep.
And would frighten anybody. But people across the world are dying every day, all the time.
Yeah.
People are being born all day, every day, all the time. Yeah. And, so I don't know. It's just a little bit crazy.
Yeah, it is. And, I think we could afford ourselves a little grace to just weep every once in a while, but also to find that light in this craziness. Yeah, be angry at the world. Be angry at what's with, and weep, or not be, but not be unhappy with where things are going and what it's looking like, but at the same time find the grace and find
that's it.
Yeah, and just keep on living.
Yeah, I mean, and that's it, because that's the other thing too. It's very hard for those that are mentally ill.
Yeah.
they're already teeter-tottered in a different place anyway, and they're not stable. And when you have unstable meet chaos, you have a problem.
Yeah.
Which, and that's the thing. I talked to Amy Jo. She's my friend that's a nurse in Raleigh, and we grew up together. And suicide rates are huge.
Oh yeah,
they're skyrocketing. Right now. And it's just really hard to, I understand. We've dealt with that in our family, and I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't agree with it as a way out.
Yeah, of course.
But I think that there's a lot of people who, well, if they don't have any money to pay their bills, and the government told them they couldn't go to work, and now they have no job, and now they're out of their money, and now what's the next thing? I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, like, what you become in you become in the situation where, and I don't know. I mean, like churches too. I mean, that's the other thing. A lot of churches are dependent upon people to show up to church on Sunday and write checks and put in that offering plate. And it's not happening. Yeah. People, I'm sure, are still contributing to church,
but people still send checks, but it's definitely not where
it was.
Yeah, and so we have to, but still, I see that God still is providing somehow.
Yeah.
Both here at St. Catherine and at Trinity, we, with every time I'd worry about finances, something would happen. A check would show up. Somebody would call and say, "Hey, I need to, want to do this." Somebody would want to fund a ministry and say, "Here, can you?" And then we were able to give it out. So,
He always provides.
Yeah, God always provides, and I. Not to say, "Oh, we'll be fine. We don't have to pay attention to finances," and we'll just trust in God, and but when we do the work that God is continuing, because I'm not going to stop doing the church. I'm not going to allow this church to stop, and ministry still goes on. It looks different, but if we keep doing that, God will find a way to be able to continue the ministry and pay the bills, keep the lights on.
Yeah, I mean, and when the time comes that we can all be together and peace be with you.
Yeah.
With a handshake or a hug or a kiss, in my case. So I'm at St. Catherine's. We're coming out of the aisles.
Oh, yeah.
And we're hugging and kissing each other. It takes a minute to pull everybody back to their pews when I'm there because I'm out. People are coming down from the choir loft, and I'm hugging and a kissing, and everybody's a hugging and a kissing.
I've heard that about me.
It's just one of those things. And you're right, it will come back, but I'm just ready for it to come back.
I know, me too.
And I want to cancel Christmas, even though it's Christ's birthday. I just want to cancel this year and not do anything.
Yeah, I'm ready I just want to get to 2021.
Yeah,
see what happens next year.
I met with one of my buddies, and he's like, what? I booked a trip to Cancun for January 1, and my friend that's going with me is like, why are we going to fly on New Year's Day? It's because I can think of nothing better than to spend the very first day of 2021 on vacation on the beach in Cancun. That's the thing. Like, we're going to start 2021 on the right foot and leave all of this behind us.
Yeah.
And so I made the threat. In fact, I had a client show up a couple weeks ago. She goes, "Where's the Christmas trees?" And I was like, "They're not up yet." And usually they're up in July. And she's like, "They're not up." I said, "They're not up. I haven't put them up. I pulled it down this weekend, the Christmas trees in the studio." But I'm reluctant because it's like, I think that the Christmas cards this year should be outside.
Yeah.
I think it should be reflective of a limited edition. This is a crappy year series. Instead of Happy Holidays 2020, it should be like, we're so glad this is over.
Yeah.
Looking forward to 2021 and hang out off of a tree or something.
Yeah.
Something that's fun and funny and outdoors and not confined to the studio and maybe safer.
Yeah.
But it's just funny. And you've got littles too. You've got little babies. I mean, how has everybody in your family adapted?
They're, especially because we just moved here in July, and our kids are starting brand new schools, and they're not able to make friends, which is really tough for a 7th grader. My oldest is going into middle school, and it's really tough. And but again, the power of meeting. We're on. I saw a Facebook group, and she posted something about that, and she started getting here's my son's gaming card, tag for Xbox, this Fortnite. Here's my son's number. Have him call. Have a message, and he kind of got linked in with some people through that, and but it's still not what you go to a new school, you're seen and you meet friends, and that's just not happening. But they're still happy. They're still powering through. They love being here. They really are loving Sienna. They're ready to get to church and start being able to get active in church again. But online school, they're actually doing pretty well and keeping on top of. So,
it's a lot for Casey.
Yeah, she's gonna be sainted for this one. All the parents are. It's a lot, but it still allows them to do schoolwork without having to worry about being around a whole bunch of people and spreading the virus, or getting it. So they're that's the way we're looking at it, and we made the decision we're probably gonna keep them in online school through probably most of the fall, at least through the fall. And then Fort Bend ISD pretty much made that decision for us.
Right.
Which, I know some parents, that just doesn't work. They can't, I couldn't imagine making that decision.
I would prefer it. And I told you that. And I told you that we normally are on the same trajectory. Whatever Fort Bend ISD does, we do. And for some reason, our private Christian school here in Fort Bend did not choose to do that. And that's fine. We're dealing with it. But I really would prefer him to be at home because he excels either way.
Yeah, and that's how we
don't have a kid that has to be glued his rear end to the seat.
Yeah,
my kid loves to do school and loves to get it done and be moving on to something else.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't. It actually is easier for him to be at home because he can get done with the work and then he's not having to wait for the classroom time to be up.
Yeah,
to move to the next thing.
And that's how I realized last year when we went to doing school from home. They actually did better. They did better work. They took their time, and instead of just thinking, I got to finish this, and then my son, my other son, he's now in 5th grade. He was in 4th grade. They would give him the packet for the week, and he figured out, well, if I get it all done on day one, I'd have the rest of the week
off.
And so that's for a while. He would do that. After a while, you got to space it out. But he figured out how to. How to buck the system.
He figured out how to manage his time.
Exactly, but he did the work and it was good. And I was like, okay, you know what? He can do it. So we were we didn't have any concern with him being able to learn and grow in knowledge being online. It's on us.
That's a lot on parents.
Yeah,
it really is.
It is.
And I've talked to so many of them, and they're just like, "Oh my God, I didn't want to be a teacher."
Yeah.
Or I had no idea how hard it was to try to get somebody to sit still in a chair.
Yeah.
And they'll go do something and they're trying to work from home too, and then they'll go back and the kid's not doing it. And they were like, "How did you do that?" I said, "Here's what you do." James Edward, he's been in that homeschool, be at school, homeschool, be at school since he was in 3rd grade. And I would go and I'd start the spelling words and I'd say write them 5 times and I'd go shoot.
Yeah.
And if I got back and it wasn't done, then he lost his iPad.
Yeah.
If he did all of it and he wanted a smoothie, well, I mean, I'm not about not bribing the kid to do that.
Yeah.
If smoothies and iPad time, you earn it.
Yeah.
You can have it.
Yeah.
But that's what got it done. And if I had just said sit here and do it and there's no reward, probably would have been the same problem.
Yeah.
So a lot of them have figured out that if they create like a little chart, almost like an allowance, but it's not an allowance, it's a reward chart. If you do this and this, then I'll give you this. And if you don't do this and this, then you're going to lose this.
Yeah.
And then they'll figure it out.
Yeah.
It might take them a while. Some kids are obviously more stubborn than others, but for the most part, they'll do it.
Reward and
Yeah,
I
mean, I didn't have any problem. I mean, and granted, there was a video of him in his Darth Vader outfit swinging his sword around the island, spelling his spelling words when he was probably, I don't know, 4th grade, And I would be cooking, and I would say whatever the word was, and he would da-da, 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 da-da. I'm like, good job, James. And then I'd say the next word. Da-da. What school looks like isn't necessarily sitting in a chair in front of a computer. If it means you're dressed up like Darth Vader and you're swinging your sword and doing your spelling words, who cares?
Yeah.
And I mean, I've had that kind of artistic, out-of-the-box, more flexibility in the parenting. Which, of course, anybody that's going to sign up to do a half homeschool anyway is going to be like that anyway.
Yeah.
But I wanted more control over it. I wanted to be a part of the process because now, and this is for those parents that are thinking they're going to pull their hair out or whatever. Now I've got a kid who's almost 18 years old that wants to sit and have a conversation about Aristotle or God or astrophysics, or today it was all about the DNA and how the cells replicate. and how they have sugar molecules that attach to each other, and how it follows through the body and replicates, and it's from the stem cells when you're a baby, and it stays with you for life from the mother. And he loves education, and he loves to articulate what he's learning to me, because that's the relationship that we've built, because I've been the homeschool quasi teacher for his whole life. So when he comes home, he's like, oh my God, Mama, you know, and I'm like, cool, dude. What else did you learn? You know, he loves the anatomy and physiology class this year. And we've only been in school, Monday, Tuesday, we were off Wednesday, Thursday for what was supposed to be this hurricane. And then Friday. So today was the 4th day of school for his senior year. And he's just enthralled with that science class. He just loves it. And it's so cool to see him love education. That's what it's supposed to be.
It is. It's supposed to be. You're not supposed to go and.
It's not miserable.
I mean, I guess sometimes we try. I think we do a good job of making it I know for me, when I was in high school, I made a good job of making it miserable for me.
Well, chemistry was pretty awful. I remember Miss Dunlap, and my God, Daddy was her doctor. And they were like, Daddy couldn't understand, because he was a chemistry major before he became a doctor. And he was like, I don't understand. She's not stupid. I just don't understand. She doesn't get it. She doesn't understand it at all. And Miss Dunlap said, Dave, she's not going to get it. Okay. She does not have the chemistry brain. Now, show her a picture and she can make a painting. Have her read a passage. She can talk to you about it in depth on different levels of what the meanings are behind it. She doesn't have that. And finding that special group of stuff that each of your children is into.
Their niche.
I mean, it really makes education exciting and fun and joyful.
Because that's what it's supposed to be. It should be.
I mean, Jonah even said, Mom, I was reading all these books, and Mama got involved in reading the books. I had to finish reading the book because the book was so good. Whatever they got sent home to read, she was supposed to read like a chapter, and she got so into the book, she read the whole ding-dang book. She was like, this is some good stuff. But it was like, she lost that because she's so busy being a lawyer. And, getting them to bed, making sure they've been fed, making sure they're bathed, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And it's forced a lot of people in good ways to come together and spend time as families, where they haven't done that in years.
And, that's like I said, there's blessing in this. We just got to look for it and find it, and we will see it.
Absolutely. Well, I want to thank you guys for hanging out with us and being a part of the Martini Talks this evening. I hope you guys have gained a little bit of insight listening into our conversation about God and his wonderful plan that he has for each of us, and how, even though it seems like things are a little bit crazy or a lot crazy, there's always a light. There's always a light. I thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed it.
Thank you, Father. We'll see you soon.
See ya.
You guys be good. We'll take care.